Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10. Our special guest today is Hannah, and she is from Mountain Mama's Art and Adventure.
That's right.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about what it is you do. I don't know that I've ever heard of your business before.
Yeah, so I started my business about 2.5 years ago, and I basically curate adventure and art events. So they all always have an art element, and I like to spice it up with some type of adventure element. So I partner with farms to do things like paint with Highland cows. Those are the cows with the long hair that are so popular. And, the painters get to go out, pet the cows, feed them treats, learn about them, and then they come back with me and they paint a Highland cow. Similar events to that are some that I do at Imes Nature Center, where they'll bring out their falcon or their owl and then learn about those animals, and then we will paint those. But also do jewelry workshops and some 3D, like painting birdhouses, pottery, painting pottery, things like that. Mm-hmm.
So you offer just a wide array of things to do.
Yep. I'm my own boss. So if you think of an event, I can make it happen.
So people contact you with an event idea, or do you organize events and people sign up for them? How does that work?
Yeah. So I have paint parties several times a week, every week. My kind of radius is Dandridge, but I travel like an hour and 15 minutes radius around Dandridge and do events. But I'm also definitely always open for custom events and private bookings, things like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you organize the event, like say we're going to go paint Highland cows, what is an average cost for that?
Yeah. So a lot of my paint parties start out at some as low as $30 per person. And then they go up to my cow experience. If you book an hour with the cows and then an hour and 45 minutes with me, it's $85. It includes gelato and coffee as well. And then I also offer a $49 package where you get 15 minutes with the cows. So you've got two different options to try to keep it affordable for folks.
So do you have to pay the farm?
Yep, I have to pay the farm,
Gotcha.
And he's got to pay a guide to lead the cow experience. Right. So that's where that all comes from. Yeah.
All right. But it is a different kind of experience for sure to have that adventure element with the painting element, because that's kind of a new thing for me. I'd never heard of it. But I think you were telling me before that you're going to look into doing hikes with the paint.
Yep. So I already do at Imes Nature Center paint and hikes with them. We will hike a mile or two and then come back and paint something that we saw along the trail of a certain viewpoint or something like that. I've got one coming up there. But I'm hoping to also expand this summer into leading paint and hikes in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So that would be where we would hike out, paint while on the trail, and then hike back in or hike back out. Yeah.
Gotcha. That would be fun because there's some beautiful scenery going up through there.
That's right.
All right. So how do people get a hold of you? How do they find out more about this?
Yeah. So I have a Facebook page called Mountain Mama's Art and Adventure Company. Kind of hard to find on there. There's a few Mountain Mamas out there, but my logo is a girl in overalls holding a big paintbrush.
Gotcha.
So that's how you know you found me. And then my email and my phone number are on there, and also respond to messages really fast through Facebook.
Okay. So do you have an event coming up that you know, like the dates and all that you want to share with everybody, or?
Yeah, I have a lot of events. I'd have to pull up my calendar. I've got so many I can't remember. But
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can get with you when we get done taping here, and then we can post them in the comments.
Okay.
So that people can click on that. We'll also link to her Facebook page in the comments, so if you do have trouble finding it, just look in the comments a little later and you'll be able to see the link and follow along. So is there anything else about your business you want to share with us?
If you have an idea, a certain animal you'd like to see partnered with a paint party, let me know. I've got different farms I work with. I have miniature horses, goats, mini donkeys, I used to do alpacas, so I could find another alpaca farm. Or if you like want to do a fundraiser, I do that. I've partnered with the Smoky Mountain Humane Society and raised about $500-600 for them in one night through a paint party. So I can also come to your house or your church for any group that you want to get together and hold something private and custom. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking bachelorette parties.
Yes.
Where we paint a Chippendale. No.
Right.
See, she's on the link with me
Hey.
here. We're like, hey, it's a beautiful specimen.
Yeah. Your imagination can soar with me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a unique idea. Something different to do.
Yep.
So, good deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we will definitely post the link to everything in our comments. So if you see an event you want to check out, let us know. Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
But we're going to talk about what real estate is doing in 2025, where we were at in 2024, and then talk a little bit about where mortgage rates are headed, maybe. Yeah. So I know the Fed's meeting today, but they're saying they ain't doing nothing.
Right. I've heard that they're going to hold up this time, so we'll see. We'll see. They're still, running in the sixes. We still everybody's. I think a lot of people though, when we've had this conversation before, I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, they're not coming down. If I want to do something, I just might as well go ahead." So I'm seeing that.
Well, I know the past 10 days for us, we have just been like phones have been ringing off the hook. A lot of people putting their home on the market. A lot more showings than we've had.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's because, the holidays and then the snow and then the cold weather, if everybody was just pinned up and said, hey, let's get out of here. But,
they realized their house was too small. They were pinned up that long with family.
Well, I was thinking it's probably been about 10 years ago now when we had a period of like 3 weeks in January where it either snowed or iced almost every day. The kids were out of school for 3 weeks. And that was a big factor then of, when people had to stay in their house, they realized, yeah, we need a little bit more space. And then COVID happened, and I think that was the same thing, as people were like, this house doesn't really work for us if we're all going to have to be here.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, we've seen a lot more activity.
Yes, I've had a lot of applications, a lot in the last 2-3 weeks.
Well, you're lucky on that because we didn't get a whole lot of business 3 weeks ago. Of course, I was sick, so I don't know. Yeah. I might have just been out of it. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about what happened on Cherokee Lake this past year. So in 2024, we had 35 homes that sold on the lake, and they ranged in sales prices of $224 all the way up to $1.2 million. And you're like, $224,000 for a lake home? Now you have to realize if you're looking at $224,000 on a lake home, there's going to be a catch, right? So this particular home was like a tiny home, and the lake was actually across the street. So you had a really good view of the lake, but you were going to have to go down a hill and cross the road to get to the lake. So that's kind of why that house was priced the way it was. So I decided to take those out because if you're looking for an honest, what are the average sales prices on the lake, you kind of have to take the anomalies out of that equation. So I looked at just single family homes that sold at 400 or above. We had 28 homes that sold in that price range. They ranged, the average sales price was $705,300. They took an average of 96 days on the market to sell, and they sold for about 93.5% of their list price. The median sales price was $665,000, and those homes had about 41 days on the market, and the average sold to list price ratio was like 94.7 on those. 50% of those 28 homes sold within 30 days on the market, percent of their list price. So even when you're talking about luxury homes, lake homes, if you price your home right, you're not going to be on the market for a prolonged period of time, and you're going to have to come down off your price that much. The $1.2 million home, it went under contract within a week of going on the market. The next highest sale was $1.175 million, and it sold the same day it went on the market. It went under contract. So lake homes do sell. Sometimes they take a little longer, depending on when you list them. Right now we have 11 lake homes on Cherokee that are active and available. They range in price from $175,000 up to $1.3 million. The $175,000 home is over in Bean Station. It does have lake frontage. It is a early 70s model single wide home that has been added onto. So that is not going to be financed. You're going to have to pay cash for that. But if you're looking for like a vacation home, whatever, that would be a great investment. You know, where you're not putting out a whole lot of money, but you still get to enjoy the lake. We have 3 lake homes right now that are under contract. So that's kind of where we're at on the lake market. I can tell you that the lake market is starting to pick up as far as buyers that are looking, and it's kind of early in the year for that. We've got one over in Cherokee that's priced around $800, and I've had a few showings on it when it first come on the market. Not a whole lot of activity the past couple of months, and then this week we've got 6 showings lined up on that property. So the seller's like, I'm just hoping one of them becomes an offer, and I'm like, hey buddy, I hear you. But activity is starting to pick up there. So
Absolutely, yes.
all right, any exciting changes going on in the mortgage world?
No, the only thing I would like to share, I guess there was an announcement yesterday with Trump about, putting a hold on some funding for different things. It's not affecting mortgages. So those, if anybody's wanting to buy a house and thinks, oh, I can't buy now because of that, we're still funding loans, all government, FHA.
Well, I had seen a headline that said something about that, and then it was like, but they quickly retracted that.
Yes.
So
Quickly, yes.
Yeah.
So that's not an issue. Again, people that are getting tax refunds, even if you're looking at a 100% finance loan, as you and I know, there's home inspection fees, appraisal fees that have to be paid. So
earnest
it's a great,
money.
yes, a great time if you're getting a tax refund to definitely be talking to a lender and getting pre-qualified, and if
I
you
used to
think
get
you're,
tax refunds.
I know. Not anymore, right?
No, I used to be like the first person that ever filed every January. There's several that have popped up in my memories where I'm like, I filed my taxes. They've already been accepted by the IRS. I should have my refund by this date. I miss those days.
Not really.
When I have to write that check, I kind of miss those days.
Oh,
But
I'm sure. But, and then I've got a lot of people that had a lot of calls this week, people maybe that know, hey, I have some credit issues, but I want to be able to buy in the next 6 months. So, hey, again, reach out to a lender, myself or whomever, and we can help you with that to get people's credit improved, tell them what they need to do to work on that. So if they can't buy now, they can buy later.
yeah, and it amazes me how many times that somebody is ready to start the process, you know what I mean? And they call a realtor first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we'll have them in, we'll sit down with them, and the questions that they ask are oftentimes, well, we want to find out about first-time home buyer programs and this, that, and the other. And of course, having done mortgages, I can generally speak on, the FHA, the THDA, rural development, but I'm like, to know what you qualify for, then you really need to talk to a lender. And they're like, well, I've got Credit Karma and it says, and I'm like, yeah, Credit Karma isn't worth anything. It's kind of like Zillow.
Right. Right.
Credit Karma is not going to give you the credit score that a mortgage company is going to give you, and it's only giving you one, if I'm not mistaken.
I've never done Credit Karma, but whatever it gives you is usually not correct.
Right.
So
even though you think you know, you may not know. The first step in this entire process, feel free to call me, and I'm happy to sit down with you. But when you're truly serious about finding out what you qualify for, what your payments are going to be, you got to talk to a lender. So,
and so many people, I get this all the time. If you pull my credit, it's going to hurt my credit. And if you're shopping for a mortgage and maybe 1 or 2 mortgage companies pulls your credit, it's not going to hurt your credit. What a lot of people, if you car shop and 10 different people pull your credit, that's going to affect your credit. One thing we're seeing right now too, a lot of people put Christmas on credit cards. So, if you owe close to what your credit limit is, that can hurt your credit score. So there's a lot of things right now but the fact of a mortgage company pulling your credit, hurting your credit, it's not going to do it.
And that all changed, correct me if I'm wrong, back when TRID took place, didn't it? And they created the CFPB, and they created that timeline for you to be able to shop a mortgage.
Right.
So if you are looking and you're trying to compare, points and fees and rates and all that, you have a 10-day window.
I say 2 weeks, but 10 days.
Yeah, 10 to 14 day window that the government says the credit reporting companies cannot hold that against you. So you don't necessarily need to go and let 6 or 7 mortgage companies pull your credit, because honestly, the way that everything works now, everybody's going to be pretty close. And what I would encourage people to look at is, okay, so maybe this company gave you 1/8 of a point a better rate. Who have you known that's closed a mortgage with them? Look at their reputation. Are they local? Are they a national company? Because if it's a national company, they could care less about your timelines. I'm just going to tell you, I've been there. You need to work with somebody who's local, who knows the situation, who knows our market, and has relationships with the title companies, the appraisers, those types of people. So,
right. And if somebody does have that 8% better on the interest rate, check the fees. Because people tell me all the time, I'll get a call, what's your interest rate? I say, well, I have 12 pages of interest rates. Depending on your credit score, loan program, how much you want to pay in points, not pay points, all that plays into that interest rate. So it's not just a simple, what is your interest rate that you can answer. So
yeah, it's not shopping for a CD rate where you can just call and say, what are your CD rates today?
Absolutely, a lot different.
It's a lot different when you're looking at a mortgage. So
yes.
But yeah, that's going to be your first step, is to talk to someone. And I really think, and I think I've said this before, I think our high schools are letting people down because they don't talk about credit. They don't talk about what affects your credit, things to do, things not to do, and just general financial management.
Absolutely.
In general.
Right.
I think they think parents are going to teach that. And, my mom was vice president of a bank when we were growing up. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but back then they offered what we called a general business class, and they taught you how to balance a checkbook. They talked about credit. They talked about different things, and I don't think they do that anymore.
Right. And I'll give you an example of something that I personally have got going on right now. I bought some new furniture, and the furniture company said, hey, we can do 12 months same as cash. And I'm like, well, hey, that's a good deal. So we bought it in December 1st of January. So I got my first credit card statement, and I have my total that I know, and I've already divided it by 12 months, knowing I've got to pay at least this much every month. And what's on that credit card statement is less. So, but the statement does tell you that if you don't pay it in full by the 12 months, then they go back and charge you interest for that full 12 months. So it's kind of I think it's a shady deal. I mean, I feel like that minimum payment should be divided by 12, because if I only pay that, when I get to that 12th payment, I'm going to owe a lot more money than just a 12th of the payment. So I kind of feel stuff like that, is not, I don't know.
It's misleading.
It's very misleading. Very misleading.
And it's kind of like, it just left my brain. You ever get brain fog? Happens a lot. No, you said something that made me think of that. Talking about the 12 months same as cash and dividing it by 12. Oh, it's like a home equity line of credit. You're only paying the interest on a home equity line of credit. And then whenever that thing becomes fully amortizing,
absolutely,
if you have not paid extra on that balance, you're going to get shell shocked. Because usually it's interest only for like 10 years or something.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And so you're just making that minimum payment thinking you're doing your thing, and then you get that bill and you're like, holy smokes.
Still owe what I borrowed 10 years ago.
Plus more than likely. So, yeah, I just think that's something that, as the real estate community, we're going to have to pick up the slack, and try to do some of those things. So,
and I do that. I sit down with people, and you almost have to pull credit. Some people say, well, I don't want you to pull my credit. Well, it's kind of hard to help somebody if you can't see what's there. But I'm always glad to help people and just say, hey, here's what you need to work on, to improve the score, or what you need to do. So.
Right. Whether it be pay off credit cards,
right,
pay off a car loan, whatever.
What's really bad is sometimes you have to tell people you need to go get a credit card because they don't have any credit. But we talk about that too. We talk about how to use it and not have to pay interest and things like that too.
Yeah. All right. Anything else going on in mortgages that we need to know about?
That kind of covers it.
All right. Good deal. If you own a local business or you're part of a local charity here in the Hamlin County area and you would like to be spotlighted on our community Facebook Live every Wednesday, please send me a message, send me a DM. We would love to get you on our schedule for 2025.